Funny thing the other day is I put a post up on TikTok, and I've mentioned it to you before the podcast. It's funny, you put them up on different platforms and they get different reactions. So like I put the same post up on LinkedIn and a lot of people were in support of what I was saying. So yeah, well said. That's great, George, blah, 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 blah. And just for context, it was a video about red flags that I look for with subcontractors. And I went through whatever it was, four things that if this comes up, I tend not to work with a subcontractor that has those things that come up. And on TikTok, man, the hate I was getting, there's 180 comments and still counting, still going up. And people are giving it to me. I'm trying to anyway.
It shows you all the tradies are spending this time.
But it also, yeah, exactly. That's right. Hey, look at where else
LinkedIn versus TikTok.
Yeah, but B, it also shows that whole mindset behind them. Like what I said was nothing negative.
What did you say, Share?
Okay, first thing was with a subcontractor that it was a red flag was if they're not willing to sign a contract, a subcontractor. Like, why wouldn't you? They don't understand. They see it. This is people's interpretation of me saying you must sign a contract. Oh, you're trying to fucking screw me over. What? I would get nervous to sign a $100,000 job on a handshake. I would be nervous to sign a $100,000 job and signing my signing my subcontractor's quote as a builder. I would be nervous about that. Like, hang on. I'm taking all the you finish your job, you go home, you sleep at night. I still have to build this house for the next 9 months.
Yeah.
I need security that you're going to do the right thing in accordance with the standards and so on and so forth. So that was the first thing. The second one was payment terms. That's what triggered most people. I say, no, you got to be 14 days, 13 days, 30 days, end of the month. Oh, you can't pay trades. You're using them to cash flow your business, all this stuff. Like, guys, you need to be, if you can't sustain some cash flow in your organization, that shows to me you're a high risk person to do business with. I need to know you can sustain a level of cash flow in the business because we have a process to make sure money comes in before it goes out and so on and so forth. Another one was safety, which no one commented on at all because why would someone say, saying if they didn't comply with all the OH&S obligations. And the final one was communication. Just being clear, open communication, answering calls, getting back to us when we need, because a lot of the stuff is quite critical. So they ignored the two that, not an issue, but the two they hung their hat on was contracts and payment terms. And I get it, because a lot of them probably, and then you get all the people coming through and accusing me of other things that are irrelevant. Like, I bet you shop for the cheapest quote. Like, that's irrelevant. It's not even part of the conversation, and you're making an assumption of zero fact. Just because I've said something that triggers you a little bit. But as I was saying before, I get it. I reckon most of them have just gone through a bad scenario where someone didn't pay them or someone did rip them off and now they're painting every single builder with that one brush. And it's interesting how you look at different platforms giving you different responses. As I said, LinkedIn was quite positive because it's generally business owners that are on LinkedIn and replying to that.
A lot of professionals.
Yeah, a lot of professionals. Didn't get anything really on Instagram or Facebook. It was very much similar to sort of LinkedIn. But yeah, it's funny how that works. But I've had other posts in the past where I got lots of flack on Instagram, but not much on TikTok. So yeah, it's funny. It's funny how you see those opinions come in, right? And what you really need to realize, which I did quite some time ago, it's the opinions of people that you're never going to change. I'm not going to sit here and get upset because someone thought something. It's like you said it the other day. Your face made a sound and you got upset.
Yeah.
It's so true.
How good is that?
Yeah, it's so good. So good. And I did a training a few weeks back. And again, it was part of some NLP training. And I was saying, like, your mind is a meaning-making machine. Everything you look at and everything you interpret, you are putting meaning to it. I put up another post. You would have seen this one. I think you actually commented on it because you laughed. I was holding up a newspaper. And on the newspaper in big bold writing, it was a Herald Sun. It said, "It's okay to hit your wife." Right now, this photo was taken 16 years ago, a long time ago, before I was even married, still young, working at Multiplex. And yeah, we were just mucking around, and my mate, I was holding the paper up and he took a photo of me and I was pointing at the camera. And at the very bottom of that newspaper, it said, "Flights to Adelaide, $30. So in my comments, I was like, can you believe 16 years ago, you could get a trip to Adelaide for only $30? All right. And everyone in the comments was like, "You're disgusting." Like, I had one lady just go off of me. She's like, "You're disgusting. You're an industry leader. You shouldn't be saying things like that. You should be in support of that." I'm like, hang on. I am highlighting $30 flights to Adelaide. you have read my post, looked at my post, interpreted my post as me being in support of violence against women or my wife, that is your mind making meaning of what you're saying. Even though I put that there. Was I insinuating that? Yes. Okay, obviously, as a joke, of course. Right? As a joke, I've insinuated that, but someone's put meaning behind that. Maybe they experienced violence in their relationship and they would have seen that and just gone really upset. I get it. I understand. But the same way a comedian doesn't get up and apologize for a joke, like if Jimmy Carr, every time he'd stand up in front of a crowd, he'd be going to jail, with every joke he said. He said, he's so funny.
Yeah.
He's one of the funniest people, but he will say the most vile thing. Everyone laughs. Do people get offended? All the time. Most comedians are like that. But that's the thing. They're allowed to tell a joke. And yeah, it was funny. I thought I'd get a lot more flack for that than what I'm telling people just about some payment terms in a subcontract agreement. But again, people put meaning towards things that they want to because of the experiences generally that they've had in their past. And that's why I'm probably getting so much negative flack back on that platform, because they're all on there. They've all been burnt and they're like, oh, you're a red flag. Okay, mate, whatever. Good luck to you.
Yeah. Well, you just make sure you don't hire those people.
But that's what I said too. Like I went through responding to a lot of comments. I probably responded to about 50% and then it just got too much. It could be fucked. But I said that. I said, guys, he's like, I would never work for you. And I go, the beauty is you don't have to. Like, I'm not holding a gun to your head to sign contracts. I'm not holding a gun to your head to work for me.
I always, from people who say like, I'll never work for you. I said like, no, come on, please. Like, come on. Come on, please. Give it a shot. Give it a go. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, you can't change some people's minds.
Again, they've put meaning, they've had a feeling, they've had an experience that has led them in that direction and that path. So I try and often look at things subjectively. If something's upsetting me or something pisses me off, and I say, oh, why? Why am I upset about that? Like, sort of take a second to think about it.
Yeah.
And more often than not, it's probably something to do with myself rather than what I'm actually reading or interpreting.
Yeah, I think that's a great skill. I do that too. Like, take yourself out of the
hard to do, like initially, because we look at things and get pissed off immediately. And even in a relationship, yeah, like it's, I can't remember if I said this in a book or in previous podcast. I read it in a book and it's like men can't tell the difference between a physical spear being thrown at them and a verbal spear being thrown at them.
Men can't?
Yeah, they find it difficult. It's like as soon as you have a spear, if I'm going to throw a physical spear at you, you're in danger, you're going to get attacked. Like you're ready to attack, to retaliate, to defend. Hey, don't fucking throw spears at me. Don't try and kill me. And it's the same thing again with your words. When a man or a woman and a man are attacking each other or is attacked, the man gets defensive. It's generally the first thing to do. Not all the time, but more often than not, they're the ones that are going to get defensive first and go, fuck you, I'm not a coward. I'm not a bad dad. I'm not, all these things that'll come up. I don't know where I was going with that, but I think often it's a skill to step back and go, okay, cool. I do know where I was going with that. So it's a skill to step back and go, okay, cool. I'm not in danger. I don't need to attack right away. I can just assess, take a deep breath, be calm about it, have a stoic approach to it. And more often than not, that's when you can make a really informed decision or react in the right way. I think that's a really hard skill.
It's a very hard skill.
Yeah, and I'm still working on it myself.
Yeah, and it's like, the way I do it is, I call the situation for what it is, take yourself out of it. So like, what's happening here? Okay, there's two people talking. Get me? And just take yourself out of it. Okay, there's just two people talking. Why is one of them rolled up? Or whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah, and sometimes emotion gets in the way, and whether it's your family or your team.
Or your team.
I think that's definitely a very beneficial skill to have. You know what else is
If you like that clip and you want to watch another one, click just over here. And if you want to watch the full episode, click just over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.